Hey everybody, Mac here, and this is going to be the final video that I have. This is version C on how to factor out using greatest common factor, or what I call what's the same, what's left over. And if you randomly popped on this, make sure you go back to Mac's tutorials because I do a lot of slow, methodical explanation to get you to where you would be on this worksheet, okay? So I'm gonna assume that you've looked at the video in version A and B. I'm gonna assume that you've seen part one and you have an idea of the what's the same, what's left over method, okay? So let's just zoom in on it and let's put it all together. Okay, the very first one, I have 4x's, I have 2x's. What's the same between them? Like what's the most I can pull out of both of them? And the answer is 2. I can pull 2 out of 4. I can't pull 4 out of 2. So x2, or the smallest exponent, is going to be what I'm going to pull out. Now, if I have 2 in the question, 2 terms in the question, I'm going to have 2 terms in the answer. So if I have 4x's and I pulled out 2, I'm left with 2. And if I have x squared divided by x squared, well, what's anything divided by himself? A 1. Okay, so whenever you pull out everything, you still need to have that in the answer. All right, let's go on to number 2 here, okay? What's the same between 12 and 18? Meaning, what's the biggest number that'll go into both? And the answer is 6. How about with the letters? That's going to be a y squared. What's left over in the first one? Remember, we're dividing, so that's a 2. I had 3 y's, I pulled out 2, I'm left with 1. Minus sign, 18 divided by 6 is 3. All the y's were taken out, and that's my answer. Going on to number 3. What's the same between 15 and 30? Well, 5 might be the first initial thing that you look at, but start with the lowest number and ask, will the lowest number go into the biggest number? And it will. So 15 is what I'm going to pull out. Now, if you pulled out a 5, that's okay. There's a way you can still get to the answer, and I'll pick 1 or 2 of them to do that as examples later on. Now, how about the letters? I have 5, I have 3. What's the most I can pull out? 3. Parentheses, what's left over? Well, all the numbers are gone. I had 5 A's, I pulled out 3, I'm left with 2. Put a plus sign here, what's 30 divided by 15? 2, I pulled out all the A's, I'm done. Number 4, I have 6 M's, I have 2 M's, the most I can pull out is 2. What's left over? First one, I had 6, I pulled out 2, I'm left with 4. I pulled out everything, I write a 1, don't just leave it, okay? Number 5, what's the most I can pull out of 20, 40, and 60? Well, hopefully you see the 20, but now I got to do the letters. I have 4 P's, I have 2 P's, I have 1 P. Well, the most I can pull out of all of them is 1. Okay, I can't pull out more than I have, so that's going to be the biggest. So now this first one, the 20, all my numbers are gone, but I have 4 P's, I pulled out 1, I'm going to be left with 3 P's. Plus, now I'm going to do the next term. 40 divided by 20 is 2. I had 2 P's, I pulled out 1, I'm left with 1. Minus sign. I have a 60, I pulled out a 20, I'm just left with a 3, and all my P's went with it. Okay? Number 6, 5 B's, 3 B's, 1 B. All I can do is pull out a B. What's left over? I had 5, I pulled out 1, I'm left with 4. Minus, I had 3 B's, I pulled out 1, I'm left with 2. And the last one, B divided by B, is 1. Okay, let's go on to the number 7. So 24 and 36, maybe you see, let's see, let me go down here. All right, there's some other nasty numbers I can do this for, so I'm just going to do this one. I see a 12. Okay, and so 12 will go into both of these. What I do on this one is I go to the smallest number, which is 24, and I go, well, 24 go into 36, and the answer is no. Well, what's the next biggest factor of 24? Well, that would be 12. Well, 12 go into 36, and I can see that that one's true. So that's how I go by finding it. Now let's look at the letters. I have 3, I have 2. I'm going to pull out 2. What's left over? 2 is the number, because I divide. I have 3 R's, I pull out 2. I'm just left with an R. Put a plus in the middle. 36 divided by 12 is 3. All my R's are taken out. I am done. 8, okay? 7 K's, 5 K's. I can pull out 5 from both of them. In the first one, I had 7, I pulled out 5, I'm left with 2. And in the second one, I pulled out everybody, so do I write nothing? Do I write a 0? Remember, we're dividing. K5 divided by K5 is a 1. You have to keep your 1 there. Let's go on to number 9, okay? I can see that 14 will go into 28, so I'm going to write 14. I have 6 T's, I have 3 T's, I'm going to pull out 3 T's. What's left over on the first one? Well, my numbers are gone, but I had 6 t's and I pulled out 3, so I'm going to be left with 3. Plus 28 divided by 14 is 2. I pulled out all my t's. I am done. Okay? 10, what's the same? 4, 2, and 1. Well, I can only pull out 1 out of all 3 of them. What's left over? In the first one, I had 4, I pulled out 1, I'm left with 3. Second one, I had 2, I pulled out 1, I'm left with 1. Third one, I pulled out everybody, and so that's when I write my 1. Let's do number 11. Okay, so 32 and 48. This will be an interesting one. The answer is 16, but let's say we didn't see that at first. Okay, so this is going to be one of those that I said you may do in a 2-step. So I'm going to pull out an 8, even though I know it's 16. Okay, so N5 and an N2, you're going to pull out an N2. What's left over? First one is going to be a 4n cubed, and the second one, 6 times 8 is 48, plus 6n, hello, sorry about that, let me just do this one over. Okay, so I'm going to have a 4n cubed, that one was fine, plus 6, and I pulled out all the n's, I'm done. But you always have to look at your parentheses at the end. Is there anything else I could have done? And you notice between 4 and 6, I could have also pulled out a 2. So really my answer should have been 16n squared. Now if I pull a 2 out of these, it would be a 2n cubed plus 3. You could see the 16 right away, but if you don't see the 16 right away, just pull anything out and then you can find the leftover. Number 12, between 9, 27, and 18, the biggest number I can pull out is 9. And now let's look at the letters. 6, 3, 2. I can pull out 2 of these. Now what's left over? In the first term, the number's gone, but I had 6 q's. I pulled out 2. I'm left with 4. In the second one, I'm going to divide to get 3. I had 3 q's. I pulled out 2. I'm left with 1. And in the last one, I have a 2, and all my q's are gone. Okay? Now on number 13, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the letters here. And I see 5, I see 4, I see 2. What's the most that'll come out of both? And the answer is W squared. That'll leave me with a W3 plus a W2. If I take everybody out, I just write a 1 at the end. 14, 50 and 75. Those are like quarters. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a 25, a D6, a D3. What's the most? I can pull out a D3. What's left over in the first? 2D cubed. What's left over in the second one? Just a plain old everyday 3. Okay? Let's go on to number 15. I have an 18, a 54, and a 36. Well, this one's pretty nasty too. Looking at it, I know I can pull out an 18, but let's just say we don't see that. You probably see the 6 first. Hopefully, maybe you see, what else could you see? You could see a 9. No, 6 is really what you're going to see, right? Or you could see a 9 too. Let's just pull out the 6. I think you're going to see a 6. So if I pull out a 6 and the letters 7, 5, and 2, I can pull out 2 on the letters, right? So on the first one is going to be a 3h to the, subtract them, and I get 5, minus 54 divided by 6, that's going to be a 9, okay, h to the 3, and then plus, that's going to be just a 6. Now when I look at it, I ask myself, is there anything left over? And I look at the 3 and the 9 and the 6, and I go, you know what? I could have pulled another 3 out of there. So I'm going to pull another 3 out, so it's really 18h squared. Now I'm just going to pull a 3 out of my previous answer, which will give me an h to the 5 because my 3's are gone. Divide by 3, 3h cubed. Divide by 3 plus 2. And if you look at the original, if you pulled out 18, that's what it would have been. Okay? Let's go on to 16 out of 20. All right? So here I'm going to pull out 3 j's out of both of them. The first one I had 4. I pulled out 3. I'm left with 1. The second one I pulled everybody out, so I'm just left with a 1. All right, 4 more. Way to hang in there. All right, so I see a 40 and I see a 100. What's the biggest number that'll pull out of both of those? And that would be a 20. Now I see a v to the 5th and a v to the 2nd. What's the most v's you can pull out? Well, the most you can pull out of both is only 2 of them. So what's left over? In the first one, 40 divided by 20 is 2. I have 5. I pulled out 2. I'm left with 3. Plus sign. 100 divided by 20 is 5. I had 2 v's. I took them all out. All my v's are gone. Number 18. 6 z's, 4 z's, 2 z's. I have 2 z's. Okay? So now what's left over? In the first one, I'm left with z. Subtract them. Don't divide them. I had 6. I pulled out 2, I'm left with 4. If you say it the way I'm saying it, you're going to get these right all the time. I had 4, I pulled out 2, I'm left with 2. I had 2, I pulled everybody out, I have none left over, but remember, we're dividing. Anything divided by itself is a 1. Okay? Now I'm going to do the last 2. Here I see a 21 and a 35, and I can pull out a 7. Letters, I see 3 F's and 2 F's. The most I can pull out is 2. What's left over the first one? That would be a 3F plus 35 divided by 7 is 5. I pulled out all my F's. I'm done. Okay? And number 20, I can pull out an 8. And what about my letters? 5 G's, 3 G's, 1 G, a G. And now I'm left with 2. I had 5. I pulled out 1. I'm left with 4. Minus, I had, divide, that's a 3. I had 3. I pulled out 1. I'm left with 2. And finally, 8G divided by 8G, what am I left with? Just a 1. My friends, if you can do this, you can do all the, what I call what's the same, what's left over. You got to do that with every factoring you see. When it says factor, the first question you always ask is, what's the same? Okay, and if there's something you can pull out, you got to pull out. That's always step 1. So that's why I taught this one first. And if you can do the ones here, there are some that get nastier. These all kind of had 1 variable. Sometimes they'll have 2, but if you just remember the concept, you're going to be fine on this. And this is how we factor out common terms. So great job hanging in there, and let's keep factoring. Let's go on to the next one. See you there.